Students, this is Dr. Sujata Magdum, Assistant Professor in Zoology, KTHM College, Nashik. Today, I'll be dealing with Immunology for MSc Part 2 students, Semester 3, and the topic of discussion is classification of autoimmune diseases from Chapter 5, that is Tolerance and Autoimmune Disease. You are well acquainted with the fact that our own body, it also has certain type of antigens which are called as self antigens, and these self antigens basically they show tolerance against the normal bodily cell. If this balance between the normal cells and the self antigen is showing some sort of disturbance, it leads to a disease which is called as autoimmune diseases. This part we have already studied in the previous section, and we have come to the conclusion that autoimmunity actually is something related with the structural and functional composition of the bodily cells produced due to the action of immunologically competent cells against the normal component of the cell, and this leads to imbalance or disturbance, and this causes a disease which is called as autoimmune diseases. The mechanism of development of autoimmune disease we have studied in detail in the previous lecture. Also, you know the fact that if the self antigens they are showing some interaction with the normal cells, it causes the disease, and this is called as horror autotoxicants. This horror autotoxicants was the name which was given by Elric in 1901. Today, I'll be talking about the various types of autoimmune diseases which are commonly found into the population. So let us talk about the classification of autoimmune disease. Now this classification is based on the site of involvement and the nature of lesions of the autoimmune diseases, and can be classified into three main types. That is, the one related with the blood and is called as hemocytolytic autoimmune disease. The second one, which is restricted to the organ and is called as localized organ specific autoimmune disease. And the third one is non-specific or non-organ specific, and therefore it is called as systemic autoimmune disease. Now, hemocytolytic autoimmune disease can further be classified into three different forms, that is autoimmune hemolytic anemia, autoimmune thrombocytopenia, and autoimmune leukopenia. Localized or organ specific autoimmune diseases, as the name suggests, is restricted to certain specific organ, say for example to thyroid or adrenal. So we can say the localized organ specific autoimmune disease related to thyroid gland is Hashimoto's disease or the Graves disease, and in the similar manner the localized organ specific autoimmune disease related to adrenal gland is called as Addison's disease. In the same way, the autoimmune disease related with the eye is called as phycoanaphylaxis and sympathetic ophthalmia. In the same way, there are certain diseases localized to the nervous system, and these are idiopathic in nature. Idiopathic refers to the reason for their cause is yet not known. The third type of autoimmune disease is systemic or non-organ autoimmune disease, and this non-organ systemic autoimmune disease is systemic lupus erythematosus, that is also called as SLE, and the second one is rheumatoid arthritis. So let us see in detail the functioning of the or organization or development of these autoimmune diseases in body. So let us begin with the hemocytolytic autoimmune disease. Let us try to understand the meaning of hemocytolytic. If I split this term, I have hemo, cyto and lytic as the three different terms. Hemo refers to the blood, Cyto refers to the cells and lytic refers to the damage or breakdown, indicating that hemocytolytic autoimmune disease has something related to breakdown of the blood cell. As a result, you can say there is destruction of blood cell observed. Now, this destruction is related with autoimmunity, indicating that there is development of certain antibodies into the body, and these self antibodies, they have the potential to interact either with the blood cell like erythrocytes, platelets or leukocytes, and hence bring about the cause of three different forms of diseases, namely autoimmune hemolytic disease, autoimmune thrombocytopenia or autoimmune leukopenia. Autoimmune hemolytic disease is seen when the antibodies, they are showing interaction with the RBC or erythrocytes. Now this interaction leads to breaking of the RBC or erythrocytes. As a result, the number of RBC get reduced, indicating that there is development of anemia. Now, this type of disorder wherein antibody is acting on the self RBC is because of presence of two different types of antibodies, which are classified as warm antibodies and cold antibodies. Now, this warm and cold antibodies refers to the action at 4 degrees or 37 degrees Celsius. So, those antibodies whose interaction is seen at 4 degrees, they are called as the cold antibodies, whereas the antibodies whose interaction is noted only at 37 degrees, they are called as warm antibodies. Now this warm and cold antibodies naming is based on their interactions seen outside the body to find out the cause of the disorder or the disease. It means it is a serological test which enable us to see the action of antibodies at 4 degrees or at the 37 degrees, and depending on which they are been classified as warm antibodies and cold antibodies. Now let us see what are warm autoantibodies. As I said, warm autoantibodies, their interaction can be seen only at 37 degrees Celsius, and it belongs to the class of immunoglobulins, that is IgG. Now these antibodies, they are called as incomplete antibodies, and they don't have any tendency to bring about the clumping phenomena into the blood cells, and therefore they are called as non-agglutinating type of antibodies. Further, these warm antibodies, they bring about coating on to the surface of erythrocytes when the direct Coombs test is performed, and is commonly seen in patients who are administered with the drug, that is alpha methyl dopa. So you can say this is a side effect one can see when there is use of alpha methyl dopa type of drugs in the patients. In the same way, the cold autoantibodies, their interaction can be seen only at 4 degrees Celsius, and therefore the name is cold autoantibodies. These were first identified by Donath and the Landstenia, and these are called as complete antibodies, which bring about the coagulation of blood, and therefore they are glutinating type of antibodies. They belong to class IgM, and they are commonly seen in atypical type of pneumonia, trypanosomiasis or black water fever. So this is with reference to the antibodies which have an interaction with the erythrocytes. Now the next is autoimmune thrombocytopenia. Thrombo refers to platelets. Thrombocytes are platelets. Thrombopenia refers to knocking effect onto the thrombocytes or breaking effect of the thrombocytes, indicating that the antibodies, they will interact only with the platelets and not with the erythrocytes or not with that of leukocytes. And the reason for this interaction is observed because of some disturbance into the receptors which bring about the attachment of antibodies to that of the thrombocyte receptors, and as a result of which the number of thrombocytes or platelet gets reduced. It is more commonly observed in the purpura type of thrombocytopenia, and the reason for this is idiopathic. Like, it is not related with any other disease nor with the drugs, and it is idiopathic in nature. That means the cause of such kind of interaction between the platelets and that of the antibodies is not yet known. The third type of autoimmune disease, which is of hemocytolytic type, is autoimmune leukopenia. Leukopenia means it has to be related with the leukocytes or the WBC. Now these WBCs or leukocytes, they have the tendency to interact with the anti-leukocytes antibodies, and as a result of which it causes non-agglutinating type of reaction. That means clumping is not observed, and hence it is related with the disease that is called as systemic lupus erythematosus or rheumatoid arthritis. Now the second type of autoimmune disease is organ specific. As the name suggests, organ specific means it has something related with the specific type of organ or the gland. Like, the best example quoted here is with reference to the thyroid gland, and the disease which is seen occurring because of some interaction of the antibodies with the thyrocytes is Hashimoto's disease or thyrotoxosis, that is Graves' disease. Addison's disease is related with the disorder seen with reference to the kidney. Autoimmune orchitis is the disease which is related to the epithelial cells, that is the epithelial cell receptors, they interact with the antibodies, and therefore the malfunctioning in the epithelial lining is observed. Myasthenia gravis is the disease or the disorder which is once again organ specific and is related with the skeletal tissue, wherein the muscles, they get weakened due to interaction of the antibody with the receptor molecules of the muscles, that is the motor receptors. We are going to study this shortly. There is disease of eyes which is also organ specific. The best example is phycoanaphylaxis, and the second one is sympathetic ophthalmia, and the last one disease of nervous system, which is basically not related with any other reasons known to us, and therefore it is idiopathic in nature. To begin with our discussion, let us talk about the diseases of thyroid gland, and in that we shall begin with Hashimoto's thyroiditis. Now this Hashimoto's thyroiditis is observed in middle-aged women, and the target organ, actually I should say the gland, is the thyroid gland. And as a result of which, because the thyroid gland is involved here, the symptoms are commonly seen similar to that of hypothyroidism. In case of hypothyroidism, you know that the TSH level is very low. Now, why TSH level is very low? Now, because TSH level is low, obviously the secretion of thyroxine will be less. Now, I'll be talking about why this is less seen into the body. It is only because large number of lymphocytes, they are seen infiltrating into the thyroid gland. Here you can see the normal histological diagram of the thyroid gland, wherein you can see large number of acinar cells showing presence of colloidal matrix or the thyroid secretions holding within it. Whereas onto the lower side, you can see large number of small bluish purple cells occupying the maximum space of the acinar cells. Now these small bluish purple cells which are seen occupying the colloidal region are the lymphocytes. Now this actually is because of large number of infiltration of lymphocytes, or you can say migration of lymphocytes into the thyroid gland, and as a result of which the thyroid acinar cells, they lose their, or they show reduction in their colloidal region or the lumen region, and therefore the secretion is less. As a result of this, the symptoms which are commonly observed is the people suffering from this thyroiditis, they have the anxiety, then bloating phenomena, brain fog, that means they are forgetful in nature. Then there is fatigueness or drowsiness commonly observed. Hair loss is commonly seen, and in case of females, there is heavy periods seen because of hormonal imbalance. Moreover, because there is hormonal imbalance, the females, they are showing high sensitivity more, and apart from that, they have mood swings, and there is low vitamin D present into their metabolic pathways. Apart from that, they show multiple food intolerance. Then muscle soreness is commonly observed, palpitation and irregular heartbeat is commonly observed, and these are few you can say symptoms which are related with hypothyroidism. Now, how does this happen? It is because the body, it generates auto antibodies, and these auto antibodies, they interact with thyroglobulin. These thyroglobulins means the acinar cells, and this interaction leads to blocking the sensitivity of the cell, and therefore the thyroid cell surface components which are or always seen interacting with the antibodies, they will stop stimulating the cell for the production of thyroid secretion, that is thyroxine, and that leads to low concentration of thyroid into the body. Then the second is Graves' disease. In case of Graves' disease, LATs are observed. Now, what is LATs? LATs are actually the auto antibodies, and these auto antibodies, they are called as long acting thyroid stimulators. Now, why are they called as long acting thyroid stimulators? If you see here, the first picture, there is a thyrocyte which shows thyroid stimulating receptor binded with thyroid stimulating hormone released by the pituitary, and this combination, that is interaction of TSH with the thyroid stimulator hormone, gives the signal into the thyrocytes, which helps in release of thyroid hormone. Now, this thyroid hormone, when it is seen in sufficient quantity, it has a negative impact onto the pituitary, and it causes a negative feedback which brings about control in the release or secretion of the thyroid hormone itself. Whereas in case of Graves' disease, the TSH is always seen binded with autoantibody. Now, here in this picture, you can see that the thyrocyte is seen binded with an antibody, and this antibody is autoantibody, that is the LATs. And this LATs, it is seen almost permanently binding to the surface of the TSH, and as a result of which it continuously stimulates the thyrocyte, and this continuous stimulation leads to excessive release or overproduction of thyroid hormone. There is no negative impact seen in control of thyroid hormone in this condition, and that leads to the disease which is called as the Graves' disease, wherein the thyroxine or the TSH level is very high in such patient. Now, as a result, the impact is seen in puffiness into the skin. Moreover, the eyebrows, they become much more thinner, and the puffiness can be observed onto the lower surface of the eyes. So, this is called as Graves' disease. The third type of disease in our discussion is myasthenia gravis. Now, as I told you, myasthenia gravis is again an organ specific disease, and it is related with the muscle. That means now I'll be talking about the skeletal tissue, or you know that skeletal tissue is composed of different types of muscles, that is the striated and the non-striated type of muscles. Now these striated and non-striated muscles, they have the receptors onto their surface which are called as the motor end receptors. Now these motor end receptors, they have the potential to bind with the secretion of the nerve, that is acetylcholine. Now this acetylcholine, when it binds with the motor end receptors of the muscle, it activates the muscle and therefore the contraction and relaxation can be easily observed. Now you all are familiar with the fact that all the nerves, they are showing their innervation into the different tissues, and this helps in bringing about control and coordination of that particular tissue. So in that, keeping that concept in mind, try to analyze the effect of binding of acetylcholine with that of the motor receptors of the muscle. On to the next side, here what you can see is the muscle fiber showing presence of the acetylcholine receptor molecules onto its surface, but as the serum, it contains the autoantibodies. Here you can see the Y-shaped structure along with the acetylcholine which is getting released from the nerve. Now more efficiently these antibodies, they bind with the autoantibody, uh, uh, binds with the uh, acetylcholine receptor molecules onto the surface of muscle cells, and as a result the acetylcholine cannot bind with the muscle receptors and therefore the activation is inhibited, and thus the person will become fatigued, or the muscles, they become fatigued or they become weak, and as a result of this the eyelids could be seen in the drooping form. There is difficulty in swallowing in such conditions, and most of the time there is change in voice observed into such patient. Sometimes the disease, if it is seen affecting the pregnant women, in such situation the infant born will show the same symptoms which will last for 2 months of age, and later on the recovery will be automatic. This is because the antibodies are seen circulating within the infant's body, which last for 2 months, is responsible for showing the deformities or the symptoms into the infant, and they get cured when the infant, it starts developing its own antibodies which will clear the effect of autoantibodies which are being seen coming through the circulation of the maternal circulation into the fetal circulation. Now this is after the birth, you can say. So what we are going to conclude here is, in case of myasthenia gravis, the autoantibodies, they bind with the acetylcholine receptors of the muscle, and that will bring about progressive weakening into the skeletal tissue. The third type of disease into discussion is systemic autoimmune disease. Systemic is non-organ specific immune disease, and therefore it is called as systemic. The first one to discuss here is systemic lupus erythematosus, that is SLE. This is typically observed in middle-aged women, and the symptoms is development of fever, weakness, arthritis, skin rashes, or sometimes it is related with kidney problems also. There is production of autoantibodies which have the potential to bind with the DNA or histone or platelets, leukocytes, clotting factors, and so on. Here you can see a variety of different component of the bodily cells or the bodily components, they are seen interacting with the autoantibodies. Therefore, it is called as systemic. Thus, it brings about excessive complement activation. And outcome of this is, you can see development of patchy skin which is more prominently seen onto the face in the form of a butterfly mark onto the cheek and onto the nose. Thus, you can see It is similar to the wingspan of the butterfly, and so it is called as butterfly mark. The second disorder in this systemic autoimmune disease is rheumatoid arthritis. Rheumatoid arthritis is seen with the middle-aged people and is more prominently observed into adult, but the frequency of occurrence of this disease is very less, and only 1% of adults they are seen suffering from rheumatoid arthritis. How to identify this rheumatoid arthritis? All the joints they will be showing swelling, and therefore this swelling is profusely observed into the patient, and as a result there is disfigure observed into the location. In like you can see here hand of the patient which shows the disfigure form of hands. This is all because there is swelling seen into the joints like the wrist joint or the finger joints and so on. So why this occurs is only because whatever antibodies are seen generated, autoantibodies are seen generated, these autoantibodies they have the potential to bind with the synovial lining of the joint and the cartilage, and as a result of which this interaction leads to bringing about destruction of the synovial lining as well as the cartilage, and as a result of which there is loss of the function of synovial lining as well as cartilage is observed, and this is because of the known factor, that is the autoantibodies they are showing interaction with the factor which is called as rheumatoid factor. This rheumatoid factor it has potential to bind with IgM and IgG. IgG is seen into the into the serum, that is into the synovial fluid, whereas IgM it is the surface membrane receptor which is seen present onto the synovial epithelial lining as well as onto the cartilaginous cells. And because of this interaction, as I said, it activates the complement, and therefore there is destruction of the cell and large number of neutrophils they are seen recruited. So that leads to swelling into that particular type of uh, area, that is into the joints one can say. So how to bring about treatment for these autoimmune diseases? It is by use of certain immunosuppressant drugs, or there can be one way of removing the thymus in case of the older patient only. If it is seen in the early phase of life, then the removal of thymus is not done. Then plasmapheresis, that is removal of antigen antibody complexes, or administration of T cell vaccination can also bring about some sort of relief to development of autoimmune disease. Blocking of MHC molecule with similar type of peptide is one of the one of the method to bring about treatment of autoimmune disease, or utilization of anti-CD4 monoclonal antibodies or anti-interleukin 2 or monoclonal antibodies can also bring about some relief to the sufferers of autoimmune diseases. Thank you. Thank you so much.